Alright, so we're back in the studio for part two. And we are going to begin our calf with the basic colors now that the calf has, and all these little colors here that are on here are going to change. So the first thing I want to do is get in the eye here. I want to get that painted in. I am going to start out, I've got a number 2 flat. It's a Master's Touch paintbrush. And I'm going to go into my black. And I just want to paint the pupil right. I am going to fill this in, this eye, just black for now, some of it. I want to get some of this in here, knowing that some of this has brown in it, but kind of sticking on the outside here of the eye, just kind of getting that roundness in there. It's sort of hazy, the eye, but I want to get some brown in here also. So I'm going to go into my burnt sienna, and I have the Utrecht burnt sienna, and I might even use some raw umber. I'm going to put that out on my palette. I've got quite a number of colors here, but still good, all good here. It is a darker brown, so what I want to do is mix a little bit of my black in with this burnt sienna. So I'm going to pull that off to the side and just kind of make this a little brown in here, which I need a little water in that. Maybe add a little bit of white, just a tad, just to get that like brownish, it's kind of bluish in here. We have that part in there that actually has that grayness in it, but we will be putting more brown to lighten that up a bit. And the way this is, it comes down sort of like a, it's not perfectly round here. It comes down with some of that brown right in here. And then there's some of that shade in through here too. So I'm going to get this in here. This kind of is like, sort of like the eyelashes almost. And I just wanted to start out more or less with the eye. Just to get some of that look in there. And now I'm going to actually get a little bit of my blue. That was my cerulean blue. And mix it with what's on my brush. Add a little bit of white. Oh, made it a little too late. Get some more of that in there. It's kind of like a grayish blue shade here. Just put that out on the edge here. Just kind of get that in there like that. Right in here. We have it sort of like a V that comes through here. And this is sort of like a bluish shade, so I'm probably going to add a little bit more blue to this. A little bit more blue. So let's see if we can get some more of that blue in there. There we go. Very, very light in through here. Very light. Okay. And then it's more blue almost in the pupil-ish area, but it's still dark. As far as like that one, I had lightened that one up. But if you look at the actual paint, actual picture, you can see it's a little darker in through here. If you just look at my picture that I took, you can see it's a little darker in through there. So I'm going to just add a little bit of blue right in here. It's almost like a little M here, but we're just going to put that in. And then I'm going to get a little white. Add that white. I just want to kind of, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I just want to get that in there just to let me know that that eyeball is there. So now, this eye, it actually comes down. I'm going to rinse this out. It has like a kind of like a V shape here, right in through here. So I'm going to cut that in there. I want to get that in there. And I'm going to use my darker brown. And it comes right in through. Oh, maybe that's a little too light here. Get that black in there mixed. Kind of comes around like this, sort of. So there's a lot that comes down here and almost cuts that eye out a little. And there's like this roundness in here. So I'm just trying to get that feel in there, just to get that little bit going in there. And then right in there, gonna go a little lighter here. There's like a little bit of this that comes in, just like that. And then we'll work around that a little bit. Now let's go into the ear. We're going to use some of this burnt sienna. I'm gonna add that. I think, what was this color here? This might have been the Naples yellow, I'm thinking, or yeah, I think this was the Naples yellow. So I'm going to mix a little bit of that in there because I'm trying to get the color here of the ear. Now, in through here, we have, it's kind of like part of the fur. So we want to get that in a little bit. I can't really tell. I don't know. I think this is actually part of the ear. I'm sorry. This is the ear, and it's sort of dark in through here. But I want to keep that underneath going. I don't want to lose that part. And then here's the other part of the ear right here. And that gets a little bit more dark. And I think that's where our raw umber is going to come in. So I'm going to get some of my raw umber. Onto my palette also. And I'll probably need more of that because the cow has a lot of that darkness. And I'm still using that little brush because this is where, you know, I'm trying to detail a lot of this. Let's see, I want to get this very dark here. This is the inside of the ear. I'm just kind of making wispy little strokes. Just wispy little strokes. Just kind of want to give it that texture like there's hair. Now I'm going to add a little white to my brush. Just a little white to it. And in through here, the ear, right in here, right in here. It's going to go a little lighter in through here. Comes down. It's pretty thick through here. Now, the other thing is this is more of a gray shade, which is, it looks pretty gray there. I want to add a little bit of black, just a tad, kind of shade this a smidgen, just to shade it in through here a little bit. Comes around. Comes around. Just like that. And this can be a little lighter. This here, we're going to outline a smidge, just a little bit. Come down. And it comes down just like that. So you've got some lighter, you know, light and darks being mixed into this. So we're going to go with this a little bit. And I believe we have some of this color also with a little white. That little bit that we mixed the burnt with the Naples yellow. Very, very hard to see it, but it is in here. In here, this very little bit more light into this. Just little pieces here. Comes around here. I might just go straight into the Naples yellow here and just kind of bring that in. Right in through here. There's that shading there that you want this light right next to that dark. And this touches. But it's still, it's not this light, so I'm going back into that with a little bit more of my burnt sienna. Maybe even a little bit of my raw umber here. And I may even come up a little bit more with my ear here. Let's get some more of that in there. So it has to come up a little bit more here. It's very close to the eye. This part right here, it's very close. Very light coming through here. And we're going to get that in there also. Very light. With this, a little bit darker. Blend it a little bit more. You want to get that blended so it looks a little bit less like it's like lines here. And a little bit lighter in through this area. I'm just dry brushing this to make it look more like an ear. You want to dry brush it. So we're going to dry brush it as much as possible here. So it kind of looks like it's hairy, you know. You want to get that hairy look. All right, so the next thing, this is sort of blurred in this vision here. I'm going to add a little bit more of that nice Naples. Let me rinse my brush. Okay, I am going to put very light here. This is going to be very light in through here. This is part of his back here. Oops, I don't want to get it up there. Right in this area, I mean, it's kind of outlined sort of in a lighter shade. So I'm just going right into that Naples yellow. And this is like the glow of the, you know, sunshine that is in here. Just kind of glows here. Okay, and there's just a tad of white right here. So let's get this light here. This has to come soaring out here. Actually, I'd like to get that a little bit rounder here. I can. It's a little dark in through here. Let's see here. Actually, comes a little bit more like that. A little bit more like that. Then we're going into that lighter, right into here. When you're painting, you have to pay attention to all these little details. You know, they're in there. It's sometimes hard to see them when you're first starting to paint. So, you know, you have to keep a close eye on this, very close, to see what is actually happening with the painting. And this comes, actually, it comes like around, it kind of comes around like that. So we want to make sure that's in there like that. And it's just a tad lighter here. Let me just get a little bit of light, some of the white. Just kind of lighten that up a bit. Kind of like with the grayish color. Now around the eye, it's kind of like that orangish Naples shade. So I'm going to mix a little. I gotta want something to brush. Yeah, right in through here, it's very light. So I'm going to get into my Naples here and just put this in for now. It's a little bit orangier than this, but I'm just kind of lightening it up a bit just to get it to come, you know, pop out some. I can mix my red oxide, my Naples yellow, a little bit of white. Could be a little too orangey or too red looking. Put a little bit more of that Naples yellow in there. Can I get that like to make it look a little more orange? Okay, and up in here, I'm gonna get that little bit of highlight. A little darker in through here too. Right in here is a dark shade, so I'm going to get that in because that's pretty much, you know, important here. We want to get that dark in here. And so I'm just going to use that straight raw umber, and that green will help to give it a little bit of a glow underneath. That'll pop it out. So you want that in there. This all helps to bring out the values in the actual hair of this animal. And like I said, I'm just using that little bit of a brush, kind of dry brushing over this so it looks more like hair on the animal. Instead of having to draw each individual hair, you kind of just want to be able to do that. And I'm going to put a little bit of my burnt umber on my brush and kind of just go in here, kind of get that a little bit more like of a reddish shade, kind of. Get some of my shadows in. Just kind of get these shadows in. Alright, so in here we also have, it's sort of transparent. So it's still that ombre shade. But I'm going to just mix it with some water and kind of just go over this area here. It's just kind of like an umber shade like that, but it's not as dark. So we're just kind of like going over it. Gets a little darker in through here. So we'll make it straighter, but we want to kind of glaze over this, so it's going to take a few little coats here. It's almost like doing a portrait. You just want to kind of glaze it, so I add water to it to glaze. Just glazing over what's under there, because I've got that nice undercoat under there, so that'll help that to look glazed. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more of this to make it darker in here. down through here, it's dirt, like the dirt of the where this little calf was standing. Okay, so in through here, I'm going to add some more of the raw umber. It's very dark in here. And it goes like that. And then touches this. And this is a direct line, so you want to get that line that's directly related to this. Now I'm going to grab onto my larger number 4 flat because I want to cover more space here. Is some light through here, lighter here, and right in here it's a little darker, so I'm going to go into some of my black so I can make that distinction right here. I'm going to make that distinction. And when there's dark, there's also light right next to it, so you want to kind of be able to get that in there also, that lightness. And there is some light through here, so we're going to be actually putting in some light. Maybe right in through there. Can I get some of my yellow? Kind of make it like a golden brown through here. When you look at this, the hair is kind of going this way, so let's kind of just like get some action going that way. I might have to let this dry some. We don't want to get mud. I mean, you can always go over it, you know. Right in there, it's kind of lighter. Very, very dark. So we might just add a little bit of black to our brown here, or raw umber. Kind of get this dark. We want this very dark in through here, right in this spot. Very much dark. And in here, gotta have that. And then it comes up. Comes straight over like this, and then right in through here it's like dark. There. I want that line in there, very dark. Into my yellow umber. Why it stopped? Well, that's not good, is it? Dang it. I hope that you didn't lose too much of this. I have such a hard time taping. I don't know what kind of camera to get. I've asked other artists and they don't respond. I mean, I'm not going to steal anything. I just want to know how they do it. But that's the way it is. People don't want to help you. because you might be better than them. And that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. But I have asked other artists, the big ones on here. Nobody wants to tell me. Not sure why. Not sure why. That's alright. We'll learn. We'll do. We'll make mistakes. That's how it is. Just make the mistakes. Keep on working at it, you know. That's all you can do. Alright, so I'm going to get right in here. Wipe off my brush a bit. Let me make sure we're still on. I don't know why that shut off. I'm gonna go right here. A little bit right here. Have that little bit of color. Normally I hear that click off sometimes, you know, which helps. And then boom. What a sad thing. Alright, so then this gets a little bit darker. Or you might not even notice the darkness. Grab a little bit of my brown, and right in this little spot right here, it gets very dark. So let's get some of that very close to this. Kind of just brush it in there just a little bit, like very dry brush. Now this here is coming up, so we're just going to kind of like bring that up so it looks rounded a little bit. Maybe I need a little bit more water in there, so this is going to be like brown, rounded up. A little bit down in through here, just kind of. I really want that to be oranger, a little bit more orange. So I'm going to grab that, put some more of that in there. I can't understand why that turned off. I don't know what happened. That's just very upsetting to me. Just blend it. Just keep blending it. Blend, blend, blend. See that? And I'm just doing like a glaze, blending it. Blending, blending, blending. Blending, blending. Right in here it's very light, so I'm going to grab a little bit of my white. A little bit of this color here, my maples, and I'm going to stick that right in here because this is very, very light in here. Comes around. Must be a little marking in the little calf here. So I'm just kind of marking that. Too. Okay, just to get that little bit of roundness here. More of this color. Okay, let me step back. I like to step back and look at things for a minute. Okay, we're doing good. It's starting to shape up. He's starting to look like a cow. It's looking good. All right, so I had a little issue here with the camera. For some reason, it turned off. One of my typical things that happen. And I wanted to redo this for us here. As soon as I find my brushes, it seems like they've disappeared. How could they disappear? I've been right here all along. Let's see. Here they go. I might have put them somewhere else. So I'm going to do this again for you so you can see what I've done there. Actually, I would like to have that a little bit lighter of a wood. And I'm going to grab some of my white and some of my oxide and some of my Naples yellow. Just gonna mix this up, and I'm going to grab some of my burnt sienna. Just put that in there, kind of like tan it up a little bit. Put a little bit more of that in there. I want a little bit more. This needs to be very light here. This is a wood surface. The sun was shining on it. So I'm just gonna kind of go over what I have here. Make it a little straighter. As you can see, my skills on straightness aren't too good. But I'm just gonna put my brush, lay it down, and then just kind of go straight with it. And same with the burnt umber or the raw umber. I'm going to add a little bit more of the white into that same color that I have here, just kind of mix that with it. Let's see if I can get that a little, looking a little darker here as it goes into the shadow. And you can have that other part shining through. So I am going to get a little bit of this mixture here, which was my raw umber and black. Add a little bit more white to it. Kind of get a grayish tone here as it goes down. This was actually part of the, you kind of come down in here. This is part of the wood. I just want to get that lighter. Unfortunately, when I was taping this before, it had stopped, and I'm hoping that this is recording now. So I can see that it is, but boy, my luck hasn't been too good with all these things. It's recording now. Let me see if I can reformat this, and I'll be right back. Let's see. All right. Wait a minute. Alright, so I think I've fixed this. I don't know. I have to look again. If not, I may have to redo something, and I have to call the company because I don't know how to do it to set it so it won't shut off. So I'll keep an eye on that. So I've got that in now. I want to go into my cow up here, and I'm going to make some like this shades of color in through here. Right in here, it's a very light raw umber, so I might just actually be doing that right now. Going into my white, going into my umber and black. It's kind of like a very pale shade around the eye. So it came all the way up here for this. So I want to kind of get that in there. Once I start to get some of these shades in, you'll see how interesting this begins to shape up. I mean, it just, you know, it's really amazing. It's almost like a puzzle, you know, when you're painting, it's like a puzzle. It just, you fit all the pieces together. And some of those colors are, you know, our base coat that we put on, our underpainting is starting to show through, and that's what we want. We want that to show through, so we're not piling it on real heavy. We don't want to do that. Grab a little bit more of that. Come around here. Yep, that's where it's at. It's right in through here. And the eye, it comes in a, kind of comes in like on a semicircle. Let some of those colors from that we put in there, that undercoat, shows through. Okay, I'm going to put that in the water, clean out my smaller brush because I want to get into those little crevices there. So let's see here. Just kind of lighten it up a little here. Blend it up. All right, so now we're going to put in some of that Naples yellow, and we're going to use some of our mixture of the oxide. So I'm going to mix up some of that. And right in through here, we have more of the oxide coming through. So it's going to kind of look pinkish right now, but we're going to add a little bit more on top here. Let those bottom, that undercoat show through. Let it show through. We want that to show through. All right. I'm going to mix a little bit of my yellow. That's my cad yellow medium and white. And right in here, there's a little bit of that lighter. It's kind of light right now. I mean, yellowish looking. I just want to kind of get that in there. I'm going to add a little bit more white to it. A little bit more white. I'm starting to run out of room here to mix. So hopefully I will have enough room for these things. There's just a little slight thing there. It's kind of like a little bit light here too. Okay. Some of this is going in here, right underneath that. That's that color that I mixed with the red oxide, sort of like a pinkish shade, sort of like what I put in there. Get a little bit more of that. Some of that yellow show through there. Comes down. Okay. All right, I'm going to put some more of my Naples yellow out on my palette. Oops. Ooh. Got that. I'm going to put that up and through here. Just kind of put some of those. Just kind of fill this in at the top here. Top of my canvas. Now I have a rake brush and I'm going to find that in my can here of brushes. I would like to use the rake brush if I can find it, only because it will kind of give me some of those little hairs that I'm looking for. I'm not going to overdo it with that. I don't want to create too much of a texture, just enough to give it that idea that there is hair here. We want to be able to indicate the hair. Oh dear, dear, dear. Where would that be? I have it over here actually. Let's see if I do. Do not. So I've lost my rake brush as usual. I'm just so prepared all the time. All right, well, we'll look for that after I don't want to put all those details in anyways yet. It'll just kind of come as it can. I'm going to add some yellowish colors here, a little bit of darker yellow in through here. It's coming down. We're just kind of like making those indications of it coming down a little bit. It's kind of straight. It straightens up. Woo, a little too much, too a little heavy-handed here. So we'll get some more of this oxide color, kind of indicate that it is coming down. Now I'm going to need some of my light raw umber that I used here. I'm going to use some of that. Want to get a little dark here, just a tad of dark, not a lot, just kind of like indicating that this is sort of like a marking here. And there's one here. It's a little ripple. There's one here. And a little one right here. A little bit of dark here. here and there. Right, I'm going to make this a little bit lighter in here also. So I'm going to go into my light shade here. It needs to be a lot lighter. This needs to come up a little bit more. And this is pretty. I want that to look like an ear. Sort of has like a little bit of a cast here, right in there, kind of a little bit of a cast. So you're just kind of lightly going over that, sort of dry brushing it. Same in through here, you're dry brushing. Dry brushing is really important when you're using acrylic, because you don't want a heavy hand. Heavy-handedness will cause a problem with this. You know, you just kind of go lightly. Don't put a lot of paint on your brush. Give it a little, that's a lot better here. Just kind of indicating that there's like a little bit of a lightness right in through here. And I may even go a little bit with some pink in there too. Okay, let's see. I had that quinacridone red out. So the ear has a little pink in it and some white. Just a tad of pink. Okay, I'm going to use my number 2 here. I'm going to mix it with some white. Really heavy. So you want to get a lot of white in this. Just a little touch of pink. Wipe off my brush. Now, I'm going to put the pink like right in through here. So I want my brush to be really dry too. It's just going to come through here, just like it's a little pink in the ear. Pinks in the ear. Okay. Give it a little dimension. And then there's a little bit of white up and through here, so I'm just going to grab that white with some pink still on my brush, because I don't want it to be too white. Just kind of make it look like hair. Okay. In here, we want that to be a little bit lighter here. Might add a little bit more white to that raw umber black mixture gray. That pink that's on there. I still want this to be a lot lighter. And it's just tapping it in. Kind of giving it a rounded look that it looks like an ear. Oh, and we're still recording, which is good. Still recording. Good, good. Add a little bit more of this in there. Just kind of like giving it a little bit of light. And I'm going to get my bigger brush here. Just kind of blend that so that it's and then I can get my darker. Just kind of go over some of this here. Just kind of bring it into the, just bring it into that other part there. That'll kind of make it look like hair. If you do it lightly and just run it over with a dry brush, you kind of get those little hairs, and you don't even really need to get the rake brush. Just make it kind of come through can see it's starting to make little hairy things. Cut over this a bit. All right. Now I'm going to go a little lighter here with the light pink that I mixed this part here. And I'm going to bring that kind of over. Ooh, really got something in there that I shouldn't have. He's starting to shape up. Starting to shape up. This could be part of the ear. I'm not sure. I would have to look at my photograph that I took. That could actually be a little lighter even. These shades, they darken up lots of times with the, there we go, with acrylics, things get darker. So you have your undercoat there that's kind of working for us, the underpainting. Now I'm going to get some light right in here. So I want to use my yellow and more white. That white in that yellow, mix it. Okay, and it's very, very light right here. Kind of comes to a, and right along here. Just kind of get that light shade right in there. Blend it in. Here like that. Okay, now it's more golden through here, so I'm going to use more of my gold. Now this is very pale right in here, so I'm going to go in with some white and some of that shade right there, but that we mixed before, and it's very, very light in through here, so I'm just going to go really light. Okay. Now in here it's darker yellow, so I've got this yellow. And I'm going to just add a touch of this red here. Just a touch. Okay, and what we're going to do, okay, I have to probably put some more of that in, but it's just coming down like this. I'm going to still be putting a little bit more of the light. See, you've got the red underneath, which is already helping us with this very much, and it's just helping us to do this. Okay, right in here it's light, but I want to get that light again, this part here, because this has to come around with it also, like here. And we're coming down with that a little bit. And along here it's very light, so I'm going to get that in also Very, very light in through here. Just kind of bringing it up, rounding it up. Okay, we've got some of this shade here. I'm going to use that again with a touch of yellow, and it comes. Hold on one second. It seems like my towel is just going to take forever to do. So, I guess I'm not going to finish this today like I'd hoped. So that's all right. Let me stand back here. Stand back. Oh yeah, it's starting to shape up. I go downstairs, check a laundry. Hopefully, I get this bottle. Alright, so let's go into an area here. I'm going to go into this area with some burnt sienna. And, or actually, I'm going to go in with that oxide. I think that might be a little bit better. I'm still using my number 4 brush. Hopefully you can see all this paint here without too much trouble here. Let me just remove this, and then that way we can push that back a little bit. Sally just joined me. You can see right in here it's starting to get a little moldy, some of the paint. That happens when you haven't painted for a little bit of time. It kind of gets that way. Alright, so we're just going to kind of go in here with a little bit with this. Kind of let that dark shadow come through a little bit. Add a little bit of water to that just to kind of like make it flow a bit better. Let's see here. Move some of that out of there. And some of that is right in here also. So I'm just going to kind of go over that a little bit. And as you can see, I'm kind of just making light strokes. Kind of makes it look like hair. I'm going to pick up a little bit of my brown. Need to put some more of that out. My raw umber, just to kind of give it a little bit of a depth here without making it too dark. Just want to go into that a little bit, just a tad. Blend it some. Want to get it into that. Same in here, just a little bit of a blend, and it comes around here a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to actually use a little bit of that in through this part also. This is the shadow part of this cow, this little baby cow. That's just the way the sun was shining. So we're just going to be lightly stroking this, keeping this darker here. But I want all those really nice shades underneath that I painted to come through. And it's very dark up and through here also, so I'm just going to kind of go over this way, just like that. Then I'm going to add some of that pretty Naples yellow in through here also. I'm going to rinse that out. Now I'm going to get my, remember I was talking to you about the, oh gosh, this brush here, it's kind of got the little edges on it. It has this here. This is nice to do the hair, and it is a grainier brush, so it gives some grain to the painting. And I'm going to go into my Naples yellow with this brush. Now, what you do is you go back and forth with the brush, like I just did. Get a lot of paint off of it. And you're going to go pouncing it, because you want to separate all those bristles, like that. And the more you push down, the better it is. So, let's just try this now. So this grain is coming down this way and over. See how nice that is? His little hairs that are going this way. So you want to kind of like keep that stroke just the way that this is going, his hair is growing. And I love these brushes for just doing that. Just kind of gives it a little graininess, and it kind of gives it that look of hair. And I've used these brushes quite a bit in my painting. All my painting, different paintings. So it just kind of like gives it that little bit of, like it's real. Has that realness to it. So we're just going to put some of this in. Down through here, it's a little bit lighter. It's a little darker through there. It kind of just comes over this way. And you can add a few of those in through here also, just to kind of give it that look like it's hair. Just that growth. Even up in here a little bit, we can put that in there some. I'm going to get some more. Tap it, separate those bristles. And you just lightly do this, just lightly. So we have quite interesting, right in through here, there's some of that hair comes up. And this hair sort of goes around. It comes like in an S formation, like that. It goes all different ways, really, but don't press too hard now. You don't want to press too hard with this. It's called a rake brush. Alright, I'm going to rinse that out. And I'm going to pick up some of my white here and do the same thing, because right in here it's sort of like got that little bit of white to it. So we're just going to kind of give it a little bit of hair here. And right in through here, there's some, actually through this little area too, we've got some lighter. So you want to put that lightness in there, right up in through here. So that rake brush gives you that little bit of texture that you were looking for. Okay, I gotta get Sally taken care of here. She's trying to make some room for herself. And she does not like what that was there. You got that now, Sally. You got it. I fixed it there for you. Right in here a little bit. Just some of that little bit kind of goofy look here. Just like kind of going different ways here. It's just kind of, like I said, it gives it that little bit of punch that you need. So in through here, I'm going to put some more of the red oxide. I'm going to do that with this brush. Doing the same thing, pushing it in, making those little hairs for this. Just kind of like tapping it in just a little bit here and there. That way you don't have to do each hair individually. And it just gives it that little bit of punch that you need. Get some up in through here. You don't have to push hard. You don't want to push hard. A little bit in through here. Push it. Just a little bit in through here. Little strokes, just little strokes for this. Some in through here. Now right in here, this is part of his little eye too. So some of that hair is going to be going over that. And we'll get to that shortly. Alright, so I'm going to put that back in the water. Now, in through here it's very, very light. So, I'm going to mix my brown with some white. I'll probably get more of that into this too. I want to gather more of that different shades of tan. But right now, I'm going to lighten up some of this raw umber with some of my white. And maybe put a little bit of this oxide in there. And right around his nose area here, right in here, has that lighter oxide look. So we're just going to go through here. Let some of that red show through. We can. And in through here, it's also a little lighter, so we want some of that to go through here also. And up in here, we have that. Just let that gray come through. Let the gray come through. And we're going to make this a little bit lighter. And maybe put a little bit of this Naples here. A little bit of that in there. Kind of lighten this up a bit. Wipe off some of this off my brush. Okay, so in here, very much kind of like this. sort of like more grayish looking, so I think what I'm going to do is just pull that into some gray. And through here, just make this more of a deeper. This is kind of like part of his nose, but some of that comes out into this. It goes all the way up like this. Kind of around here a little bit. So I'm kind of just blending in that little bit there around this area. And this is more like of a dark shade of brown, so I'm going to mix that brown raw umber with my black. And right up into this point here, it's kind of that dark brown shade. So I'm going to put some of that through here. Just tap it in there. It gives it a little bit of an edge through his coat. Maybe I'll just go over here a little bit with that too. On the edge. And up in through here, right up into this point, it's some of that also. It gets a little lighter in through here, and we're going to have some of that whiteness. It kind of has that reddish color. So let's see how my red is, if it's any good. Oh yeah. And have that little bit right in through here. A little bit of redness. And we're going to be painting over that anyway, so it just has that little touch of red from the nose. Let's kind of go up into that. Mix some of this. It's just part of the color of his nose, but yet this still remains dark. It has to remain dark. So it just gives that little bit of shaded color there. Okay, how we doing so far? Doing good. Camera's still on, that's a plus. A plus. This will probably be the hardest part right here, is the snout. Because there's several shades of different colors in through here, and we have to try to capture some of that. Now, right in here, it's very light right above that, so I'm going to grab my light shade that I have here. Just put it on the tip of the brush, if you can just see that. I'll push this together because I want a nice thin layer or line. Hopefully I'll be able to do this without too much trouble. Comes down, and then it's going to kind of go up here and out. Okay. Very light up in through here, very light. So I'm going to get that lighter. This little baby has a big, big nose. And if you notice, some of that purpley stuff is in there too. So I'm going to put some of that in there. Well, you probably don't notice it unless you're looking at the photograph. But it's kind of like a purplish shade through here. I'm just going to kind of purpley it up a little bit. Kind of come around here. And then I'll tap in that brown. But it kind of just reminds me of like that purpliness. And then we'll tap this back onto it. Maybe a little darker. Just a tad. And around and through here. Lighter. Kind of add that purpley shade into it, but it's tough. This is going to be the part, like I said, it's going to be a little harder. I might have to do some little tricks here. Okay, so I'm going to have this purpley blue coming in. So I want to get that purpley blue. So I'm mixing my cobalt blue and my purple just to kind of dull it down some. Make it more blue. I'd have to add more blue here. Alright, so just kind of mixing that on the, actually we're mixing it right onto the canvas here. Very purple bluish here. And then it gets dark. It does get some darkness in there. So I'm going to go into my raw umber and work it through here. Might have too much light on my brush, but it's just going to kind of work through right on top of it so you can see that coming through. And it needs to be much darker. So I'm going to rinse this out. Pick up more dark. Kind of just lightly go over that. Now, I'm making a little bit of muddy shade, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to wait till this dries some. Maybe use some of this dark. And right in here, it's really dark in here. So get that. Kind of go in here, dark. Some of this is dark. Now I have these pictures already up on the website, you know, so you can take a look at them. I want you to take a look at them and see what you think. This is going to be dark. So I'm going into that black and brown shade. Grab a little bit more of my umber here. It has to be very, very dark in through here. There, and in through here it's a little bit lighter, so this has to be dark in through here. Just tapping it in and it comes up. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit more blue just to kind of dull it down a little here. Make that a little bit more bluish, a little bit more purplish. Maybe actually in through here could be a little bit more purple too. It's very hard to decipher sometimes when you take a photograph, the shades that are in there, but just work at it slowly. Alright, so I'm going to come around now with some of this red oxide. And I'm going to put it in through here, right in through here. Just kind of right in through. Okay, we got the little, because this is going to get light here. This is going to be light because we have this dark, so we want to have the really nice light shade. Add some of this to this. Just have it come around. Even though I put that light shade in there, we're still going to get some light in there. This is all sort of like that shade of brown and stuff. So now let's see. I got to make some nice light yellowish brown. So I'm going to get this, add a little bit of my oxide here. Some white. And right in through this area is where I'm going to do this. So I'm going to bring this in, kind of just make the edges come together a bit. Right in through here, we're going to make that. And what I'm doing is I'm bringing these edges, I want to bring them this way. So I'm going to bring them out this way. And just kind of overlap a little bit on that line, kind of make it look hairy. Just come around, make it look hairy. And then have it come down around this way. And this is going to get lighter actually in through here. I'm going to add more white to it. But if I can just get that little base coat on there, that'll help me out a bit. And this all comes down. Just coming down, just making these little strokes. This is part of his little area here where some of the hairs are lighter, they get darker through here. I mean, it's just a bunch of different shades. You can see the green coming through, you can see some of that pink coming through, and that's exactly what we want. That's exactly what we want. So I'm just bringing this out, just taking little short strokes, bringing them to make it look that it's coming down. We want that to come down. It's almost like a painterly look, but we want this to show like it's coming rounded. Okay, and right here, this just comes up. This is his little bottom lip, actually. And this is coming down into that. Just like that, adding a little bit of my mixture here just to kind of give it a little up here. And I'm going to get more of that mixture and kind of bring some of this out. Oh, it needs to be a little grayer. Let's see. Maybe that'll be better here because it is a grayer shade. So that was my mixture of raw umber and black. You get that gray mixture going here. Okay. Right in through here. Oh, that's a little too light. Make it a little darker. Wipe off my brush. starting to shape up. It's cute, isn't it? I mean, how it all just starts, it's like a little puzzle. It just all starts to grow together, you know? Little puzzles. And then in through here, I'm going to get some of that blue. I didn't wash off my brush because I kind of still want to have some of that brown in there. Now right in through here, we've got that bluish shade right in through here. Part of his color here. Make sure this is going up and getting some of that blue in here. Getting up in there. And it kind of just fades into that. So we're going to get some more of my dark. And let's see here. Dark. Just making it fade into this dark. Touch of blue, you can just see it a little bit. We're going to kind of brush up on this one here. We're going to just kind of brush this up a bit so it's not a definite line there. Same within here, kind of just coming around. Very dark in here, very dark. So I'm going to almost go with some black, kind of just bring this up. It's black, black, black. And up here. This is little nostrils. So I want to make sure we get that very, very dark. Right. Okay, so I got to get some more of that blue. Rinse out my brush. It's the first time I'm rinsing it out, so let me step backwards here. Oh, he's shaping up really good. He's looking real cute. Very nice. Okay, so I want to get some more of that blue. And that blue comes like right in through here also, so just part of his little makeup here. Alright, so now I'm going to come around here with some of the reddish brown. I'm going to mix this up with a little bit of my raw umber. And just come around here with that, right in through here. Right in where that green is. Some of that red. Come around, even in through here a little bit. It's gonna have some of that in there. Okay, like in here, it's just gonna feather out a bit. And right in there, it's really dark. So I think I want to just get this a little lighter so I can go in there a little bit better with some dark. That should be kind of that gray shade. This one here. It's a little too light. Shade there. I just want to get some of this. Okay, I'm going to get my little brush here because I want to kind of come in here with a little curl of very kind of bluish white here. It's right in here. There is some bluish colors in here, just a little for that. And then I want to get this one here because it comes up to here. And then there's something that comes down in through here, just like that, and it connects to this sort of, and then this here, it comes over like that, kind of meets this little thing here. So okay, I'm gonna grab some of this blue and I'm gonna make this a little bit more prominent here. Right in through here. It should be pretty low into this. Very kind of low into this, there. Alright. Now, I got to get some more of this dark here. So I'm just going to use this little brush here again because I want this to be nice and dark through here. It should be dark like that. Okay. And I'm going to start putting a little bit lighter colors through here. And I'm going to get my little rake brush, rinse it out, add some white to this mixture, and maybe just a tad of my yellow here, just a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to push down, kind of get some of that light in through here. Light. So we'll just make little strokes of light in through here. Just little strokes. This is hair, so, and, you know, like we got to get the little pieces in there so it looks like hair. I'm just doing this very, very lightly, very lightly. I mean, we've already got some of those in, but I just want to kind of make it lighter. It needs to be a lot lighter in through here, a lot lighter. I'm just making little strokes, nothing big, just little strokes. Okay? Just little strokes, pushing my bristles into that paint. Just a few in through here, nothing too extravagant. Letting some of those other shades come through. Those shades to come through. Press it. Okay, now I'm going to go into this shade here, or I'm going to mix that actually. I'm going to mix that with some of my yellow. That's that Naples yellow. Pushing my bristles in, separating them out. If you can see this, separating them. Look at how separated they are. You want them separated. Just little strokes. I'm even holding my bristles very close to the canvas. Too much paint on there. Too much paint. This has to be kind of dry. Add some of this into here also. Just kind of dull it down a little bit. Nothing too much now. Just adding some of these little, just to make it look like it's hair. Don't want to overdo it. Add a little white to my brush. Have it come over. Just a little bit. Just having them come over that little bit there. Now I'm going to go into my gray and do the same thing. Rinse this out. Go into my grayish shade here. Push it down, push it down. Make them separate. Make them separate. Make them separate. Just tapping some color into that. I'm going to rub it in. Okay. Maybe get a tad of the blue, mix up some gray with that. Need some grayish blue here. And I'm going to put that in through here. Just kind of like giving that color in there, making that look a little bit more kind of okay. Now I'm going to get some more of my beige here, this yellow beige. I'm going to add a little touch, just a touch of my umber. Add some white. Push my brush down into that, and then kind of go through here again. Just kind of dulling down some of those white pieces, but I like the white in there. Okay. All right, let's see here. We need some dark here in through my little piece here. So I'm going to grab some of that, push it in, and I add some of that in here. So it looks like hair. Push some in here. Well, yeah, we got to get that a little bit. Just get some in through here. I'm doing that sideways, so. But I definitely do need this to look like hair up and through here. So I think I'm going to make some more of the gray. A little bit of black. Some white. Okay, now you don't want to overload your rake brush. So I just wiped some of that out of there. Let's see here. Get some of these to come up. Okay. Some of these in through here. We want some of that to show up too. Just a little. Make it look like it's got hair here. It's its eyes area. Just kind of have it going this way. Let's see. A little bit in through here. We have, just tap it in there. Tap it in. And a little bit of it here, like that. Some that comes through here a little bit. This is how you start to get your dimension. After you get all your basic stuff in, this is how you start to put your dimensions in so that it really looks like it's hairy. Got some hair in it and don't want to go too hard like I just did there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my brown. Raw umber, kind of go through that again. there's a piece of, comes off of here. I think this is where it's at, and it just comes right on down here, just like that. And it's very light in through there, so I'm going to have to go in there and make that lighter. But we're going to put this hair in here. Comes in here. Okay. Where else? Let's see. Okay, so I got to get some light in through there. So I'm going to get my, let's see, I am going to get my burnt sienna. I think that might help. My burnt sienna. I'm going to put some of that in through there. If I can open my, it's starting to look pretty good though. It's shaping up, and that's what we're looking for. We want it to shape up. Starting to run out of room. This is pretty thick. I've had this for some time now. So it starts to dry up a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to add some white to this. There we go. Kind of marbled like, almost. Alright, so I'm going to go really light in through here. Light, light, light. Kind of just going with the way it flows. Goes down this way. Get that line out of there as much as I can. Add some of this in through here. Really give it a little bit of a dimension through that. Okay. Put some up in through here and in here. We have to still get the eye there. And maybe in through here a little bit. You know? Because even though we didn't get a whole bunch of stuff up in there, we still need to put that in there as if it was actually growing. And I think what I want to do is get some more of this very light, kind of like bring it up here a little bit more. There we go. That looks nice. There we go. And it comes all the way through here. Little hairs, little hairs, little hairs. Okay, he looks pretty nice. I'm going to put some of this in through here also, just to kind of give it that little, oops, that's a little too light. Little too light for me. Just grab a little bit more of that. Let's see here, just a tad here. Oops. Just kind of giving it a little bit more where I think it might need to go. Comes down in through here. Okay, and then I'm going to get that, rinse this out. And this color that I mixed here, I'm going to grab some of that. See if I can kind of blend this a little bit better. Because this is in shadow, I don't want to get this too light down here. But there is some darkness, so I'm going to have to go in through my with my dark now and just kind of lightly go in here just with some dark here, in here and through, just to kind of separate that a little bit. all with my rake brush, just doing the rake brush thing. And it looks like hair. All right, so let's get this other eye here. That eye, I'm using a small brush here. There's some hair that comes out here, but I want this background a little lighter. So let me get with that first. I'm going to go with the bluish gray color. I'm going to mix my white and my blue and some of that. I don't want it as dark as this, so just going to get that bluish gray in there. I still have to get this part. And I still got to get some of this fence in because there is some fence around this also. So there's still a lot to do. And I'm still recording, which is good. I have to keep looking. And that's okay if some of that darker shade comes through. That'll kind of give it a little bit more texture too. But I can go in with this one. Kind of smooth it a bit. Get some more of that hair to come popping out too. I still would like to work on this eye a bit too. I gotta step back because sometimes you gotta, oh, he's looking so cute. He is looking real cute. Very nice. Okay, let's see here now. All right. Yeah, we want to get this little bit of eye in here. So I'm going to go with brown. Just pops right here. Right in here. This little bit of eye here. And there's quite a bit of this shade too around it. So we'll just get that. It just barely shows there. His little eye. I'm going to put a little bit of black in there. Just a tad. Right here. Okay. Okay. Give me some of this here. See here. Yeah, it's kind of a cloudy day here, so we got that. Now, right around the eye, it sort of has this little bit of whitish color. So let's see if we can do that. It's not pure white, but it comes up like this. Then it comes down like this, and it comes around like that. And this also, I wanted to fix that. And I'll have to get that a little bit more white here. But it does come down like that. So, I wanted to fix that. Also now this here has a little bit of the black and the brown mixture. A little black and brown mixture. And right in here, there's this, like, it comes out. Now because my canvas has still some wet, it's going to look a little weird here. So I'll wait until that's ready. Might have to just use some nice black. Alright, so his eye is sort of like a grayish brown. So let's see what we can do here. Add a little bit of that brownish gray in through here, which I think I probably have captured pretty well here. And it has a... Okay, so now the next step that we're going to do, I want to still fix his eye a little bit. I'm not real thrilled with that. It looks like it's protruding there a little bit. When I did this, I think what I should have done, and I'm getting my round brush here, my little round brush, going back into my whitish color, and I have it going the wrong here. It should be coming down. Actually, it should be coming like this. And then it comes around a little bit, but then it comes around like that. And then it just comes down into that. Because around here, it probably has the same thing. But what I need to do is get a little bit of this shade here. That is my oxide. And just kind of put it in here a little bit. Just a little. Kind of getting it through here. Because some of this here should just be coming through. Just peeking through, and that's what I am going to cover it up a little, so that looks like that. Now I'm needing some more of my paper towels here. These are just going to be like the little touch-ups now that I'm doing. Okay, let me go in here a little bit with some of this gray blue mixture. Come in a bit right in here, just get that closer. We're going to cover some of this up because I want to get a little bit better black onto that. Now, let's see. Alright, so our next step, well, I do want to kind of go over some of this too. I need to get some of the dark in there. Now, I'm not rinsing out my brush. I'm just using this round brush, a little water, making it a little bit wet. Bringing it to a nice point. And I'm coming in through some of here, this area here, just kind of getting some dark spots in here. I want some dark, dark, dark. This is ground here, so it has to have a little bit of texture so that it kind of looks groundish like. Little texture here. A little bit up and through here. Get some more of that. Get it a little wetter. I want it pretty wet. Get it wet, you know. In through here, there's some of that dark. Just kind of bringing it into this a little bit. Just kind of glazing over this a bit. Just glazing it over. through here. I might even make it even lighter. Just kind of make a light glaze that goes over this, I think. I'm going to do that also. There's a lot of texture in through here. Just some texture. Okay, so let me rinse this out. Let's see, I want to go into this. This is my burnt sienna. Making that very wet. And I'm just going to, well, this is going to have to go up a little bit. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to draw some lines into my board. This is my little, these don't have to be perfect. You're just making little lines. And you don't want a ton of them. You're just kind of just giving it a little bit of, so that, you know, you kind of know that this is, they don't have to be straight. They don't have to be, some can be a little bit, oops, that's a little too much there. That's okay. That kind of blends in okay. And just lightly holding it. We don't want to go crazy with this. There's some in through here. But as you get down, it's going to get a little darker. So we want to get some of the darker because of the wood. It's like dark. It's in the shadows. So. Okay. Some kind of goes down this way, this way. We're just trying to make that look like wood. Now we can go over some of that. We're going to make some, let's make a wash. Let's make a nice light wash here. This is a wash. I'm just using some water. We just want to glaze it. Just kind of glaze over it. Like this. Just push it back a little bit. And you glaze over everything, and it kind of just gives it that little bit of lightness, but yet you can still see through it. Just pushing it back. We're going to put that onto that ground surface also. Just pushing it all back. When you do portraits, this is kind of like what you do with that too. Alright, so I want to get a nice soft brush to blend that in. Let's see if I can find one. Oh boy, let's use this one here. This one is an angle brush. It's a shader. It's a 16. Just to smooth out the lines here. Okay, smoothing it out. Alright, now our next step, we are going to be using this brush again, this round brush, and I am going to make some blue-gray again, blue-gray mixture, getting some of my raw umber into this blue mixture, adding a little white that I have there. We're going to make a little fence, and the fence comes right here, right about here. It's going to come down, kind of makes a little bit of a curve down this way, and then it comes back up and over. And then there's one of the pieces that come this way, right in the middle. Alright. And then there's this line, there's one part of it that comes down, which is right about here. Right here. Okay. Now we got to put some highlights on it. It's a lot darker down here, so I am going to add a little bit more brown, a little bit more of that, because it's shade from his face. So we're just going to add a little darker here. Make it a little darker. Same with this piece right here. It's going to be a little darker. And I'm going to get a little white here, add it to this. And I'm still using that round brush. Right here, there's like a little bit of a thing that comes up. Right here at the end is another piece that comes up and over. It's almost white over here actually, so I could use a little bit more white. Okay, and right in through here it's a little lighter too. That. Now, gotta get some dark shade in here, right in through there. So I'm going to add a little bit more of my brown to this, get it a little darker. But I'm still using that blue. I'm still using that blue because this is where you get your little bit of depth here. Actually, could be a little darker. Twirling my brush in that. Right underneath here too. Maybe I'll just go straight into my dark so it shows up. Hard to see it. Just shading that fence some. Okay, I'm just going to add a little bit of white, just to touch it up here, just to get this a little brighter here. Okay, in here. I want that to be a little bit lighter right there. Alright, I think we have the finished picture. This is our little calf, and I'm hoping that you enjoyed this painting. My next thing is to just sign it, and I'm going to get one of my pens, one of my marking pens. Let's see here. And sign my name to it. It's always good to put your name on here. And I'm going to just put it right here. Right here. And I just always use my initials. You can do whatever you like. And I think we have our baby calf, and I think it turned out really cute. I hope you like it, and I'd love to see your pictures of your calf. And the thing about this is it's foreshortened, and I want to tell you about that. this is his body, but because his head came forward much larger, his body is shorter. So it's a foreshortening. And that kind of might be a little harder for you to accomplish, but I think with the tracing you should be very good with it. So until next time, happy painting, and thank you for watching. A little tad of that blue-gray. So let's get some of that. And pull it down. Like that. And a little black to the bottom here. Let's get that a little bit black in here. Came around something like that. Okay, now let's see here. Still need to get that a little bit. Might be a little too much here. Too much here, too much. Okay. We'll fix it. Alright, let's see here now. Like what I've got going on here, just have to get that a little lighter through there too. I'm going to get my number 4 brush. It's yellowish color. So I'm going to make it yellow with some of that Naples yellow. And right in through here, kind of like get that where it's lighter. Have that coming through. You want that showing through. And here, coming down, come down. And then, let's see, we get some of this. Almost like that is kind of mixed up with this, sort of. Yeah, that's it. And around here also. It's very narrow through there, but see, this is all part of this. And then we get this shade, which is the oxide, and we kind of just make it nice and kind of feather it out, kind of giving it a little bit of oomph. A little bit more oomph here. Okay, and it's white. It's very light, so I'm just going to mix some of that, what's on my brush, with the white. And right in here, it's just very light, very light. Right in here too, we want to kind of like bring that up into that, kind of giving it a little bit of dimension here. You got to blend your lines, make sure they're blended. Okay. All right, so let's see now. Still recording, which is good. I need to get a little bit of a brush that has some roundness to it. A little roundness. Here we go. Here's a nice one here. This is a, golly, this is a number 6 round, but it's kind of thin. We're going to go into the black. And we're going to put some little speckles here and there. Make sure that's rounded nicely. You see what I'm doing? Rounding it so that I have a nice point. All right. I'm going to just draw these in. And what we're going to do after we get them in is we're going to go over them a little bit with my flat brush so it's not so, just kind of like blend them in a little bit. Just want to kind of blend them in. And I can do that with some of this here. Just kind of blend them in a little bit. Just kind of go over them so that they're not so dark. We don't want them dark. Okay, we have some that come up here. Actually, we could put one right here and here. Okay. Some kind of like just a little here and there. We don't want them too big. Blend them a little bit. To blend into all this. There's some in through here. And let's see here. Actually, and some in here, but I'm going to make those brown instead of black. Okay. Alright, so we're going to make these ones here more brown. So I'm going to get some brown. And just tap these in here and there. I mean, there's no rhyme or reason to these, so you just kind of don't want to go crazy with it though. Okay. Oh, I bet I got paint on my face. I can feel it, and it's black. Okay. Since I have this nice round brush, we're going to do these little things up in here. Okay. Right in through here, there was some nice little dark here. Nice dark. And just come up like that, making sure that this is very well seen. Let's get that white in there again. That light shade of white here. Same in here. Let's get that nice. And I want to put a nice spot right here. And possibly right here. That just gives it a little bit of twinkle in the eye. A little twinkle. Alright, so the next step that we're going to do, we are going to actually put in the fence. And then we'll put in this hair, and I think our little calf is almost done. And I think we're doing pretty good. So we'll begin with that next. Okay, one thing I realized here is that I didn't actually put in the whiskers on this little baby. So I've got myself like a liner brush, and I'm just rolling it around in my black paint to get a nice point. And I'm just going to flick these on, just kind of coming out of these little just kind of making little things here where those little cute little dots that we put in before. So you just kind of want to get some of those out. Going back into that again. Want to get those little whiskers out. Get a little bit more water, get this very inky like. Make sure all your hairs are together. So we got those on there, and I'm going to take this one off because I don't like it. So I just kind of went into my water. Get rid of that there. Kind of didn't care for that. And you can just kind of smooth those out a little bit so they're not so dark. Since we have such lightness here, we don't want them real dark. We're just like showing an indication once again that those are there. Very lightly. Just want to put those in there. Kind of light, light, light. They're not very long. He had some up in here too, a little bit. Just very light. Very, very light. Right, and there you go. We have a